Hey Kevin, how you doing?
Good. How y'all doing?
Doing well. For you, timetable wise, when do you feel like you're going to be able to get out of that brace and start being able to take shots again and just trying to get back into basketball activities?
Yeah, I should still have got about 4 more weeks in the sling. Uh, they said 12 weeks out from surgery was start shooting, doing on-court stuff. Um, I'm already kind of ahead of schedule a little bit. So, we're hoping August is contact. Should really be on pace for training camp in spring and, September. So, a couple more weeks in this, though.
Good to hear. And then this summer, you and Malik have grown close. Last summer, playing a lot of golf, especially on the court as well. Just are you in his ear saying, "Hey, like we'd love to have you back here" and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, we all are. I think there's a lot of talk about him today. Uh, Everybody knows the situation. We love him around here. He's great energy for this organization. He's a big voice in the locker room. He's really everybody's best friend on the team. But it's a business. We all know that. It's a business, and we know the situation here. And I think a lot of that will dictate, how other teams see him. I think everybody knows how this team and this organization sees him. And so everybody hopes he's back. We hope it works out. But it's a business, and you got to respect him for wanting to go get paid, obviously.
Kevin, how tough was this season for you? Not only like just on the court, then the injury, and what did you learn about yourself this year?
Yeah, I mean, frustrating season. Frustrating is definitely the word. Even before the injury, just a lot of ups and downs. A lot more downs this year than I think in previous years, and continuously trying to be positive and letting work kind of and staying in the gym just kind of drive my mental state and just staying in the game, staying positive, and you learn a lot every year. This is year 6 for me, which is kind of crazy. Experienced a lot in this league already, and just continue to try to get better as a player and make it through certain situations. And I think I learned a lot personally this year and how to get through certain things, and hopefully it obviously benefits me the rest of my career.
Kevin, from the outside perspective, it kind of looked like you and both the offense-defense relationship kind of were on the same page, to where the more that was asked on the defensive end, sometimes the offense would take a dip, and that could be said about the entire team. Just from your perspective on that, the balance of working hard on one area and it potentially taking away from another, do you see aspects of that, or do you believe you don't have to sacrifice one for the other?
Yeah, I don't think you should have to sacrifice one for the other. I think best players in this league and best teams can do both, and so I think our team is capable of doing both. I think me as a player, I'm definitely capable of doing both. I don't think you should have to sacrifice one.
Kevin, to follow up on your remarks about Malik, he usually pretty nonchalant. He seemed to like the emotions might be a little heavy for him today. Have you guys had some emotional conversations back there with him, knowing what could be coming?
Not really. He keeps things pretty light. He's a good view on life. I think we were talking about him going and golfing later today, probably, or at some point over the next couple of weeks. But haven't had any heart to heart like that. We've talked, but it hasn't been too heavy.
Kevin, I remember one time Keon had mentioned when he was getting some playing time, he was working with you and he was trying to find out, where you like the ball and those type of things. When you see a player like this, coming in and sign as a free agent out of college, wasn't drafted, and move up the ladder like that, and come in and make a big splash about that in his development. What's your thoughts about that? His growth in the last couple seasons.
Yeah, it's been great to see. Being with him the last 2 years, him, me kind of meeting him coming into summer league last year and trying to be around the team. I've always loved Keon's game. He just kind of does a lot of intangibles and things that you don't always notice right away. If you're looking at box scores after games, he's somebody, if you watch the game, just watch how he affects the game, you realize how much he's doing. And so even going against him in practice the last couple of years, a lot of last year, him being up and down, G League to our team. And even at some points early this season, I think he got officially signed halfway through the year. And so it's a great story, a nice NBA underdog story. A guy that deserves it, guy everybody loves in the locker room, someone that you root for when this type of thing happens to him. He's worked hard to get here. He's earned everything he's gotten.
Kevin, Mike played a lot of 3-guard lineups at the end of the season. I was wondering, Would you be comfortable in that, like moving to a small forward role, and if you were asked with that moving forward?
Yeah, I'm open to anything, to be honest. Played in a lot of those types of lineups in my time in Atlanta. Even in playoff series and guarding bigger defenders and in some ways guarding smaller guys. I think that's always been a strength of my game, kind of being able to fit into different roles and whatever's asked for me on this team, I'm for the most part willing to do.
On paper, Kevin, this team is loaded with 3-point shooting talent, and Mike has really leaned into that, giving you guys the green light. As a whole, though, it's been a pretty inconsistent 3-point shooting year. You're one of the best 3-point shooters on the team. I guess, what do you attribute that to, this team kind of dipping from three and relying so much on that shot?
Yeah, I think it's how we're getting those threes. Shot quality, I think, is big in that. I go how we're getting them. We talked about spray threes a lot all year. DHOs in general, our offense has a lot of those. It's a tough shot. Even if a lot of your threes are getting sprinting off a DHO full speed, rising up and shooting, like that's a tough shot to take. And me and Keegan take a lot of those, and Malik has taken a lot of those. And the high percentage looks you can give, we're playing inside out, hitting Domas in the middle of the floor and letting him make plays, I think is when we're at our best. And the threes that you don't love are probably early shot clock, depending on when that comes in. The ones that are off the dribble, times where it just kind of feels like maybe we're settling, and everybody has been a culprit of doing that. So it is a strength, but 3-point shooting is a strength of a lot of teams in the NBA. It's just kind of where the game has gone. You look at Dallas Mavericks and how they play. I think, for me, that's the first one that comes out the top of my head. It feels like they shoot 73s a game. It's obviously not 70, but the way that they get those threes or skip passes and Luka making plays and finding guys, and it's not how our offense runs, but that's just the NBA, and it's how are you going to get those looks?
Mike always talks about the potential benefit of dealing with things, adversity throughout the course of the season. You're definitely had it in and out starting lineup, some up and down shooting, and then the injury. Just what was it like for you to deal with that this season, and what do you feel like you learned?
Yeah, I'll just go back to the word frustrating. A lot of stuff happened behind the scenes, conversations, trying to understand, the rhyme, the reason for what we're doing and what the coaches are thinking, what the players are thinking, just trying to get on the same page. And I think that was something that we just kind of went through really cycles over the whole course of the year. It kind of felt like I was just going in cycles. I play well for a couple weeks, and then I lose it for a week or two, and then come back and I play well, and it's not how I want to play. It's not how you guys want to watch us play. So just continuing to try to find consistency with how I can fit in with this group, this offense, the other players that we have on our team, with the coaching staff, trying to figure out exactly what they're looking for me to do on a nightly basis, and trying to limit those downs as much as you can.
Kevin, I'm actually, those frustrations, that adversity that you mentioned, I'm kind of curious about the human dynamic. You experience that, and then, you have the injury, and then the team as a whole doesn't punch through to the playoffs like you did last year. I'm wondering, is that kind of like is that a burden at all on you as you head into the off season thinking about those what ifs?
Yeah, I mean, there's always what ifs going into any off season. Even on times going into my second year where I played a lot as a rookie, like there's always a what if you're going to be on the team next year. That happens every single year, unless you're maybe De'Aaron Fox or Domas on this year's team, or Keegan, whoever would be the absolute safest person. So that's something that you deal with every year. I just think I've always had a good support system. Our coaching staff here did a good job of trying to reach out and be there for me when I had questions or was trying to understand different things. And my family back at home, the people I trained with in the summer, had a lot of people reaching out over the course of the year. And then the injury definitely felt like the icing on top. But to be honest, I kind of go back, like I probably had my best career as a pro last year. And so then this was probably my worst year as a pro this year. And so I think in a lot of ways they balance out. And if you look at it light way, hey, next year we should be back. I'm optimistic about getting through this summer, through this injury. I'll be in the weight room a lot, which I think is always fun going into an off season. And next year I think I'm looking at it really positively and think that you'll all be back.
Yeah, Kevin, how do you balance it? I mean, the injury aside, you weren't having your typical year, and like going into an off season, how do you mentally either prepare differently or just like look at the game differently in order to get yourself back to the player you were last year or the previous seasons?
Yeah, every offseason, I think, especially the last couple, I've tried to go into it with a game plan of just how I'm trying to get better as a player. I think after last year, I went into last offseason trying to be really good at the things I think I'd be doing in our offense. I really kind of focused my on-court work on looks I'd get within our offense, how I thought I'd be used, and different plays I thought I'd have, and really kind of base my workouts off of those. And maybe I didn't touch upon everything else that I think I'm capable of doing or can do, and things that make you a fully well-rounded player. And so that's kind of my goal into this year, is getting back to maybe some of the things I did the first 4 or 5 off seasons of my career, and that's working on everything. You'd be like, what do you want to get better at? I just want to become a better basketball player. That doesn't mean a better three-point shooter. It doesn't mean a better mid-range player at the rim. I want to get better at all of it. Where I think after last year it was, I want to be the best DHO guy in the league. I want to be able to run off these screens and sprint and shoot. And all of a sudden, when teams are taking that away, it's okay, what else can you do? And just get back to being a better basketball player.